Have you ever wondered why some older adults seem to break a bone after what looks like a minor fall, while others stay active and strong well into their 80s? It might seem like bad luck at first, but in many cases, the answer starts long before the fall ever happens. What if some of the foods sitting in your kitchen right now are quietly making it harder for your bones to stay strong? They may look harmless. Some are even advertised as healthy. Yet, when eaten too often or in the wrong way, they can slowly reduce the nutrients your bones depend on. Today, we're exploring 8 foods that many seniors eat every week without realizing they may work against healthy bones. This isn't about fear or giving up everything you enjoy. It's about understanding how everyday choices can add up over time, and what simple changes may help protect your independence for years to come. Be sure to stay with us until the end, because the final food surprises many people. It's often found in kitchens across America, and many older adults eat it almost every day without realizing the possible impact on bone health. Our bones are living tissue. They aren't just hard, lifeless structures holding us up. Every day, your body breaks down tiny amounts of old bone and replaces it with new bone. This natural process keeps your skeleton strong. But as we grow older, especially after the age of 60, that balance begins to change. The body often removes old bone faster than it builds new bone. This can gradually lead to thinner, weaker bones. Doctors call this osteoporosis, which simply means bones have become less dense and more likely to break. The change usually happens slowly. There are often no warning signs until a fracture occurs. That is why prevention matters so much. Strong bones don't happen overnight. They're built through years of healthy habits. The foods you choose every day play a much bigger role than many people realize. Of course, no single food will suddenly weaken your bones. Bone health depends on your overall eating pattern, physical activity, certain medications, hormones, and medical conditions. But some foods can make it harder for your body to hold on to the minerals and nutrients that bones need. As we go through today's list, remember that the goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Small improvements made consistently often bring the greatest long-term benefits. Let's begin with a food that surprises many people. Number 8. Salty processed foods. Imagine opening a bag of chips while watching television, or heating a frozen dinner after a busy afternoon. Maybe it's canned soup, deli meat, or packaged crackers. These foods are convenient, and many people enjoy them, but they often contain large amounts of sodium, which is another word for salt. Your body needs a small amount of sodium to function properly. It helps regulate fluid balance, supports nerve signals, and allows muscles to work. The problem begins when we regularly eat far more than we need. When sodium intake becomes too high, the kidneys remove the excess through urine. Along with that sodium, small amounts of calcium may also leave the body. Calcium is one of the main building blocks of bone. Losing extra calcium day after day may make it more difficult to maintain healthy bone strength, especially if your diet doesn't provide enough calcium to replace those losses. Think of it like a savings account. Every withdrawal is small. You barely notice it. But if deposits don't keep up, the balance slowly shrinks over time. Many processed foods contain surprisingly high amounts of sodium. A single frozen meal or canned soup can provide a large portion of an entire day's recommended limit. Even foods that don't taste especially salty, like breakfast cereals, breads, sauces, or packaged snacks, can quietly add more sodium than expected. That doesn't mean you must avoid every convenience food forever. Instead, start by reading nutrition labels. Look for lower sodium versions when available. Rinse canned vegetables or beans before eating them. Flavor meals with herbs, garlic, lemon juice, onions, or spices instead of automatically reaching for the salt shaker. Another helpful step is preparing simple homemade meals whenever possible. Even cooking 1 or 2 extra meals each week can reduce your overall sodium intake without making life complicated. Small changes truly matter. If you have high blood pressure, heart disease, or kidney disease, reducing excess sodium may provide benefits beyond your bones as well. Of course, your healthcare provider can help determine what's appropriate for your individual health needs. Now, while salt often gets the blame, the next food on our list is even more surprising because many people think it's a healthy choice. Yet, depending on how it's prepared and consumed, it may not always support strong bones as much as you expect. Number 7. Sugary soft drinks. Many people automatically think about sugar and weight gain when they hear the words soft drink. But bone health isn't usually the first thing that comes to mind. Still, researchers have spent years looking at whether drinking large amounts of sugary sodas may affect bone strength. Several reasons may explain the connection. First, people who drink soft drinks frequently often consume less milk or other calcium-rich beverages. When soda replaces healthier choices, the body may simply receive less calcium and vitamin D over time. Second, regular soft drinks add a large amount of sugar without providing meaningful nutrition. Too much added sugar may contribute to inflammation, weight changes, and overall dietary patterns that don't support healthy aging. Some cola drinks also contain phosphoric acid. Phosphorus itself is an essential mineral that helps build bones. The concern isn't phosphorus alone. The concern is balance. When phosphorus intake becomes much higher than calcium intake for long periods, it may not create the healthiest environment for maintaining strong bones, particularly if calcium intake is already low. Imagine trying to build a brick wall. You have plenty of bricks but not enough cement to hold everything together. Having one important ingredient while lacking another makes the entire structure less stable. Does this mean enjoying an occasional soda will cause osteoporosis? No. Current evidence doesn't support that conclusion. Bone health depends on many factors working together. However, replacing sugary drinks with water, milk, or calcium-fortified beverages more often may help support overall nutrition. If you enjoy fizzy drinks, sparkling water with fresh lemon or berries can provide that refreshing feeling without all the added sugar. Hydration itself is important for older adults. As we age, our sense of thirst often becomes less noticeable. Staying well hydrated helps support muscles, balance, and overall health, making it easier to remain active, and regular weight-bearing activity is one of the best natural ways to help maintain healthy bones. So far, we've looked at 2 foods that many people consume without much thought. But the next item may surprise even more viewers because it often appears on breakfast tables and restaurant menus every single day. And many people believe they're making the healthiest possible choice. That brings us to number 6, highly refined grains. Picture a typical breakfast. A couple of slices of white toast with jam, maybe a sweet pastry, or a stack of pancakes made with refined white flour. It tastes comforting, fills you up for a little while, and has been a morning tradition for many families. But over time, eating mostly refined grains instead of whole grains may not give your bones the support they need. When grains are refined, much of the bran and germ are removed. Those parts contain valuable nutrients like magnesium, zinc, and certain B vitamins. While many refined grain products are enriched by adding some vitamins back, they don't fully replace everything that was lost during processing. Magnesium deserves special attention. This mineral helps your body use calcium properly and plays an important role in building healthy bone tissue. Think of calcium as the bricks in a house. Magnesium helps the builders place those bricks where they belong. Many older adults don't get enough magnesium through their diets. If most of your grain choices are white bread, white rice, or sugary breakfast cereals, you may be missing an opportunity to add this important mineral to your daily routine. The good news is that improving this habit doesn't require giving up your favorite meals overnight. Small substitutions often work best. Try whole grain bread instead of white bread a few times a week. Choose oatmeal instead of sugary cereal. Brown rice or quinoa can easily replace white rice in many meals. One retired couple shared that they started making just one simple change. Every morning they swapped sweet pastries for a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and chopped walnuts. At first, it felt different, but within a few weeks, it became part of their routine, and they appreciated feeling satisfied for longer. Whole grains also provide fiber, which supports digestive health and may help keep blood sugar levels steadier. Stable blood sugar benefits many parts of the body, including overall healthy aging. Of course, refined grains themselves are not poisonous. Enjoying a sandwich on white bread once in a while isn't likely to harm your bones. The concern comes when refined grains make up most of your daily meals, while nutrient-rich foods are pushed aside. And speaking of foods that quietly replace healthier choices, the next item is one that many people enjoy as a quick snack. Yet eating too much of it may crowd out nutrients your bones desperately need. Number 5. Sweets and sugary desserts. Who doesn't enjoy a cookie now and then, or a slice of birthday cake with family? Food is about more than nutrition. It's also about celebration, comfort, and connection. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a treat occasionally. The problem begins when sugary desserts become an everyday habit instead of an occasional pleasure. Cakes, cookies, candy, donuts, sweet pastries, and ice cream often provide plenty of calories, but very few of the vitamins and minerals that help keep bones strong. Imagine filling your gas tank with a liquid that looks like fuel but contains very little energy. Your car wouldn't perform very well. In a similar way, our bodies need nutrient-rich foods to repair and maintain tissues, including bone. Research suggests that diets high in added sugars are often linked with lower overall diet quality. People who eat large amounts of sweets may naturally eat fewer vegetables, fruits, dairy products, beans, nuts, and other foods that provide calcium, magnesium, potassium, protein, and vitamin K, all nutrients that support healthy bones. There's another important point to consider. Large amounts of added sugar can make it harder to maintain a healthy weight and stable blood sugar levels. Over time, poor metabolic health may contribute to inflammation throughout the body, although scientists continue to study exactly how this influences bone health. Instead of focusing on what to remove, it often helps to think about what to add. Fresh fruit can satisfy a sweet tooth while providing vitamins, fiber, and helpful plant compounds. Plain yogurt with berries and cinnamon offers protein and calcium along with natural sweetness. A handful of dried fruit and unsalted nuts can also make a satisfying snack. If you enjoy baking, you don't necessarily have to stop. Many recipes can be adjusted by reducing the sugar slightly without sacrificing flavor. Over time, your taste buds often adapt to less sweetness. One older gentleman described how he used to eat cookies every afternoon with his coffee. Rather than trying to quit completely, he gradually replaced several of those cookies with apple slices and a small handful of almonds. He still enjoyed an occasional cookie, but his everyday routine became much more balanced. Remember, healthy eating is rarely about perfection. It's about patterns repeated over months and years. Now, before we move on, here's something that surprises many viewers. The next food isn't sweet at all. In fact, it's often recommended as a healthy source of protein. But depending on how much you eat and what you eat alongside it, it may deserve a closer look. And understanding this balance could make a meaningful difference for your long-term bone health. Protein is essential for maintaining muscles and bones. Yet, like many things in nutrition, balance matters more than extremes. Let's continue with a food that often sparks confusion, and one that many people never expected to see on this list. Let's continue with number 4. Processed meats. Ham at breakfast, a hot dog at a summer picnic, bacon with eggs, or deli meat tucked into a quick sandwich. These foods are familiar, convenient, and for many people, they bring back fond memories. But when processed meats become a regular part of the diet, they may not be the best choice for protecting your bones. First, many processed meats are very high in sodium. As we discussed earlier, too much sodium may increase the amount of calcium lost through urine. While each loss is small, the effect can add up over many years. Processed meats also tend to contain preservatives and relatively high amounts of saturated fat. Although scientists continue to study exactly how these ingredients affect bone health, diets built around heavily processed foods are consistently associated with poorer overall nutrition compared with diets centered on whole, minimally processed foods. There's another issue that often goes unnoticed. When a meal is built around bacon, sausage, or deli meats, there may be less room on the plate for foods that actively support healthy bones, like leafy greens, beans, dairy products, fish, or calcium-fortified foods. Think of your dinner plate as valuable real estate. Every item you place on it takes up space. Filling most of that space with processed foods leaves less room for the nutrients your body needs every day. This doesn't mean you must never enjoy a slice of bacon at a family breakfast or a hot dog at a baseball game. Occasional treats are part of a balanced lifestyle. The key is making them the exception rather than the routine. When possible, choose fresh sources of protein instead. Skinless chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, beans, lentils, and tofu all provide protein while generally containing less sodium than many processed meats. If you do enjoy deli meat, compare nutrition labels. Some brands offer lower sodium options that can make a meaningful difference over time. And don't forget the importance of pairing protein with bone-friendly foods. Add spinach to an omelet. Serve grilled chicken with broccoli. Enjoy salmon alongside roasted vegetables. These simple combinations help provide the variety of nutrients your bones need. Speaking of protein, our next food often surprises people because it seems like the healthier choice. Yet eating too much of it without enough balance may create another challenge for bone health. Number 3. Excessive red meat. Let's be clear from the beginning. Lean red meat can absolutely be part of a healthy diet. Beef, pork, and lamb provide high-quality protein, iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. These nutrients are especially important for many older adults. The concern isn't red meat itself. It's eating large amounts of it while neglecting other important foods. Protein helps maintain muscles, and strong muscles help support healthy bones by improving balance and reducing the risk of falls. That's good news. But some research suggests that diets extremely high in animal protein without enough fruits and vegetables may not provide the best overall balance for long-term bone health. Scientists believe one reason may be that fruits and vegetables supply potassium and other nutrients that help maintain the body's normal mineral balance. They're also rich in vitamin C, which helps the body produce collagen. Collagen is a protein that forms part of the flexible framework inside your bones before minerals like calcium strengthen it. Imagine building a bridge. Steel beams provide strength, but they still need cables, concrete, and support structures to keep everything stable. Bones work much the same way. They need many nutrients working together, not just one. If every dinner centers on a large steak with very few vegetables, your body may miss out on nutrients that help support healthy bones. On the other hand, enjoying moderate portions of lean meat alongside colorful vegetables, beans, and whole grains creates a much more balanced meal. Many nutrition experts recommend thinking of meat as one part of the plate rather than the entire meal. Fill half your plate with vegetables, add a serving of whole grains, and include an appropriate portion of protein. One retired teacher shared how she changed her dinners after speaking with her doctor. Instead of having a large steak several nights a week, she began serving smaller portions alongside roasted vegetables and a side of beans. She found the meals just as satisfying while adding much more variety to her diet. Variety is one of the simplest habits that supports healthy aging. Different foods provide different nutrients, and no single food contains everything your body needs. Now we've reached the final 2 foods, and the next one often catches people completely off guard because many believe it's automatically healthy simply because it comes from a plant. The reality is a little more complicated. And the number 1 food on our list may be the biggest surprise of all. Sometimes, the healthiest looking choice isn't the healthiest when it's highly processed. Let's take a closer look. Now we've reached number 2, highly processed snack foods. Walk through almost any grocery store and you'll see entire aisles filled with crackers, cheese puffs, flavored chips, snack mixes, and packaged treats. They're convenient, tasty, and easy to grab when you're hungry. But convenience doesn't always mean nutrition. Most highly processed snack foods share several things in common. They often contain large amounts of sodium, added sugars, refined starches, and unhealthy fats while providing very little calcium, magnesium, potassium, vitamin K, or high-quality protein. In other words, they fill you up without giving your bones much of what they need to stay strong. Imagine trying to build a sturdy house using mostly cardboard instead of wood and bricks. It might look fine at first, but it won't stand up well over time. Your skeleton depends on a steady supply of quality building materials every single day. Another concern is that these foods are easy to overeat. It's surprisingly common to finish an entire bag of chips while watching television without realizing how much you've eaten. By the time dinner arrives, you may not feel hungry enough for foods that actually nourish your body. For older adults, every meal becomes more important. As we age, we generally need fewer calories, but our need for vitamins, minerals, and protein stays the same, or even increases in some cases. That means every bite should work a little harder for your health. Instead of reaching for processed snacks every afternoon, consider a few simple alternatives. Plain yogurt with berries, a small handful of unsalted nuts, sliced vegetables with hummus, cottage cheese with fruit, or whole grain crackers paired with a little cheese. These options provide nutrients that contribute to bone health while also helping you feel satisfied. Of course, no one eats perfectly all the time. Enjoying your favorite snack occasionally is part of a balanced lifestyle. The goal is simply to make nutrient-rich foods your everyday habit rather than the exception. And now we've arrived at the food that surprises many people the most. Number 1. Excessive alcohol. Many people enjoy a glass of wine with dinner or a drink during social gatherings. For many adults, moderate alcohol intake can fit within an overall healthy lifestyle. The key word is moderate. Problems begin when alcohol becomes excessive or frequent over long periods. Research has consistently shown that heavy alcohol use can interfere with normal bone remodeling, the ongoing process where old bone is removed and new bone is formed. Alcohol may also reduce the body's ability to absorb certain nutrients that bones depend on. It can affect vitamin D metabolism, making it more difficult for the body to use calcium effectively. Over time, this may contribute to weaker bones, particularly when combined with poor nutrition. There's another important concern that often receives less attention. Alcohol can affect balance, coordination, reaction time, and judgment. For older adults, this increases the risk of falls, and falls are one of the leading causes of serious fractures. Think about it this way. Bone strength is only part of the equation. Preventing falls is equally important. Even healthy bones can break during a severe fall, while weaker bones are at even greater risk. If you choose to drink alcohol, following your healthcare provider's advice and staying within recommended limits is one of the smartest ways to protect both your bones and your overall health. If you take medications, it's also important to ask your doctor or pharmacist whether alcohol could interact with them. Now that we've covered all 8 foods, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. You may have noticed that none of these foods are bad simply because they exist. What matters most is how often we eat them, how much we eat, and what they replace in our daily diet. Strong bones aren't built by avoiding one single food. They're built through consistent habits repeated over many years. So what foods do support healthy bones? Calcium-rich foods such as milk, yogurt, cheese, calcium-fortified plant beverages, tofu made with calcium, and certain leafy greens can help provide the raw materials your bones need. Vitamin D is just as important because it helps your body absorb calcium. Depending on where you live, your age, and your health, your doctor may recommend safe sun exposure, vitamin D-rich foods, or a supplement if needed. Protein also deserves a place at the table. Your bones contain protein as well as minerals. Including moderate amounts of high-quality protein from fish, poultry, eggs, beans, lentils, dairy products, or other nutritious sources helps support both muscles and bones. Don't forget magnesium and vitamin K. Nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, spinach, kale, broccoli, and other green vegetables all contribute important nutrients that work together to keep your skeleton strong. And perhaps one of the most powerful habits of all has nothing to do with food. Stay active. Weight-bearing activities like walking, climbing stairs, dancing, gardening, or light strength training encourage your bones to stay stronger by giving them a reason to maintain their structure. Even gentle resistance exercises can help preserve muscle, improve balance, and reduce the risk of falls. If you've been inactive for a while, don't feel discouraged. Start where you are. A short walk today is better than waiting for the perfect time next month. Small, steady improvements often lead to meaningful results. It's also worth reviewing your medications with your healthcare provider from time to time. Some medicines can affect bone health or increase the risk of falls. Never stop a prescribed medication on your own, but don't hesitate to ask questions if you have concerns. If you've noticed that you're becoming shorter, developing a curved posture, experiencing persistent back pain, or you've had a fracture after a minor fall, don't ignore those signs. Your healthcare provider may recommend a bone density test. This simple, painless scan measures bone strength and can help identify osteoporosis before another fracture occurs. Remember, osteoporosis is often called the silent disease because many people don't know they have it until a bone breaks. That's why prevention and early detection are so important. The encouraging news is that it's never too late to make positive changes. Every balanced meal, every walk around the neighborhood, every serving of vegetables, and every healthy habit is an investment in your future independence. Healthy aging isn't about becoming perfect. It's about giving your body the support it deserves so you can continue enjoying the people, places, and activities you love. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We hope these simple insights help you make informed choices that support stronger bones and better health for years to come. Now, we'd love to hear from you. How old are you? And which of these 8 foods surprised you the most? Have you made any changes that have helped you protect your bone health or stay active as you've gotten older? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story may encourage someone else in our community. And if you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with a friend or family member who might benefit from it as well. Sometimes one simple conversation can make a lasting difference. Until next time, take good care of yourself, stay active, eat well, and keep investing in your health, one small step at a time.